So finally, I have rediscovered how I was meditating when I was 18 years old, and I was doing this intuitively. But it was really a way to bring myself into a state that I actually like. It made myself feel powerful because I was able to disconnect from this physical realm, which means that I was able to end suffering, but at the same time, I was able to also reprogram the avatar in a way that I liked. But somehow, I don't know if it were dark forces or good forces who wanted me to have a certain lesson, but something brought me into a multiple year-long down phase in my life where I had to go through a period of unconsciousness, of feeling like I'm small, of feeling like I'm powerless and stuff like that. And now in the end, I was like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. God, there is no video, although it feels like I'm watching every video available on YouTube and TikTok to kind of get help, but there's no video that would actually give me any help. So I was kind of letting go, but it wasn't just a one-time act of letting go. I was really trying to let go for years and saying, God, look, I surrender because I know only you can give me the right answer at the right time. I have no idea. I give all power to you. And then all of a sudden some synchronicities happened over the years where I was finally able to remember how I was meditating when I was 18 years old. So this is how. First, and it's actually pretty simple, but you have to listen to this. First, it is really important that you are able to observe your thoughts without identifying. This is the first thing that is really important. Anything else is really just is secondary. But the real thing that makes this all happen is the enlightened state. So you have to learn how to relax and really disidentify from your thoughts. And they're not your thoughts. Once you're disidentified from them, you're just the observation of it. I'm not even saying that there is an observer. There's just an observation of thoughts. And you are literally no one. But there is still a seeing, but you are literally no one. So you are this no one who is looking at the someone. And the someone is a program that is just automatically running around in your mind. You see? When you're able to relax and you close your eyes, and you see when you're doing this, there's automatically a certain field of observation. Now you can just relax in that observation. You see all the bodily reactions that are automatically just happening in the body, and you also see how your thoughts automatically come and go. They come, stay for a little bit, and they go. And you're basically now in a state where you're no one. See? And you are now literally looking at the script that is running automatically. It's like in the Matrix, you see your mind. You thought until now that this is me, this is you. You see? But actually, when you can see your mind and you can see the feelings, the physical reactions in the body, the reactions that react to the thoughts, and the thoughts that react to the feelings, then you're no longer it. You're standing apart from it. And what you can do now, because you see this is not me, you have to disidentify with this first. You see, before you start to reprogram your mind and your subconscious mind, you have to really understand, and not just mentally, but really, viscerally understand that you are not the program that's running in your mind, which is why it sometimes needs a little bit of practice of observation, of observing your mind to really understand on a really deep level that you are not the thoughts that are running in your mind. So you simply observe the mind. And when you do this every day or multiple times a day, in the end you will do it all the time. Which is, by the way, if you're doing it 24/7, 70 days a week, then that's called enlightenment, because you're no longer identified at all with the programming that's going on. So, but you have to learn this for a little bit until it's normal to observe your thoughts and no longer be identified with the mask, so to speak. So when you're doing this, then you can make a conscious choice to embody the version of who you want to be right now. And it's basically simple. Look, just do it like that. I'm here, I'm watching my thoughts, I'm watching my mind, I'm seeing that this is going on. I'm watching the personality that is running on autopilot, and I'm seeing it. All right, and I know it's not me. It's just a personality that is just like automatically running. Now I simply choose, and I see that this is negative. It says, well, no, I've done such bad things. I feel guilty. I feel like I'm not lovable. I feel like I'm not good enough. I feel like I'm a failure. I feel like I'm not where I'm supposed to be in my life right now. I feel so negative. I feel so wounded, and I feel broken, and I feel like I don't know how I'm going to fix myself. I don't know how to fix myself. It's just everything's negative, but I'm hoping for someone to save me. Maybe it will happen one day, but I've given up all hope, and all the thoughts like that. You see that this is not you. You thought it was you, and it's just it's also a kind of programming that happened. The world is programming you. It was programming you. Now you see the program and you see, wait, it doesn't make any sense to think like that. There's no benefit in this. It makes me feel bad. It makes me feel drained. Now that you can see from the perspective of observation, this is not me, you can simply say, all right. And by the way, you also have to understand this. When you're in the observation state, then the observation perspective, the one that's looking, the no one, it doesn't care whether you have a good or bad program. It is in a state of letting go. It doesn't care. It is in a state of letting go, which is why it doesn't need the program to be a good program in order to feel fulfilled. It is literally this no one, this nobodiness, this infinite spacious consciousness. It doesn't need anything. It is the thing that is needed for existence to be. See? And when you're looking from the perspective of this no one, you can simply let go. It is a state of letting go, which is really important for your identity to shift. You see? Now you can simply choose to say things like, my body is fulfilled with light. All my negative energy is being transmuted right now into positive energy. I'm radiating a positive aura, and I'm always encountering lucky situations. I feel my cells are healing, and I feel that my brain is also healing. I feel that there is just positive energy in my body, and it's all going well. I feel how there's a certain power that's guiding my life, and I feel so secure being guided by it. You just freestyle. You don't have to write it down. If you want to write it down, you can. But me personally, I just like to freestyle because my mind just comes up naturally and spontaneously with good stuff, in the moment, which is probably, the best thing you can do because it is spontaneous. Because that's exactly what the body needs right now. If you're just repeating something, then in my opinion, that's just like mechanical. And it's not really, it doesn't come from a sentient place, which is why it's like dead, if you ask me. So you do this, and then you don't bother about how you feel about it. You don't bother about if it actually happens. You don't bother about if it's actually, if there's actually a sign of it working. You just go back to the observer state. You have been in the place of no one, which is the place of the programmer, and the programmer is not bothered by what's happening in the game. Now you consciously log into the game. With intention, you choose the program that should run just for a few sentences, just 1 minute. And then when you have programmed it in, it's a little bit of information that's going into your cells. It's a new kind of information that's entering your brain and your body and your cells and your DNA and your nervous system. Just a little bit. nothing magical happening, but just a little bit is happening actually, even though you're not able to perceive it because it's just so small. And then you go back into the space of observation of no one, of being the programmer, which is not in the game. You see? And that's the act of letting go. So you have to be detached, and the way to detach is by saying, okay, I think it's important to reprogram my avatar, but the most important thing is still the place of observation. So because this is the thing, a lot of people are falling in love with the concept of manifestation, crystals, the law of attraction, the law of whatever, they fall in love with all these things, and they actually fall in love with these things because their ego falls in love with these things, because the ego wants to use those things to get power, to change, to grow, to be bigger than everyone else, to be superior and stuff like that, which is why it often doesn't work. And if it works, it still leaves you with a sense of being unsatisfied, which is why I say true spirituality is when you transcend all of that and you simply focus on real awakening, on real detachment from the mind and body. You detach from the mind and body. That's real spirituality. You simply transcend this world. You see? But when you have, in a way, I'm not saying that you have to have mastered this, but when you have become really good at it, when you really know who you truly are, which is no one, then you can use this state to actually be detached. It's like the master key of all spirituality. You have found the exit of the game. You're now no longer you're no longer trapped in the game. You're out of it. But now that you're out of it, you can play with it. So it's no longer life or death, or oh, it's so problematic, it's about my survival. No, you're playing. You see, there's a difference. So it needs to be the most important thing to have actual interest in actual waking up. The most important thing for you should be, what is my true self? Who am I really? And you won't find it as a concept. You're not a concept. You're not an idea. You're not what you have been through in the past. You're so much more. And you're so much less. You are, as I said, you're no one, which is the basis of reality, which means that it's more than everything. So simply be interested in who you truly are. Once you have figured out who you truly are, and it's not just a mental understanding, but you can actually embody it is a wrong way of describing it, but you really know who you are. It's not just a mental understanding, but you know it. You can rest as it. You're not participating in the games of the mind and feelings. You see? When you truly know it, then you can start to play, because you see now, okay, I'm not the story. I can consciously choose to enter the story and speak a new script. Just a little bit, just for 1 or 2 minutes, or not even a minute. The time doesn't matter. If you like to do it, you can do it for 10 minutes. Just tell yourself the good stuff. You cannot be a broken person, and the broken person goes through a journey of healing. The broken person has to die so that the already healed person can be reborn. But the broken person cannot go through a journey where it slowly starts to heal and heal until it's good. You see? There are certain pathways in the brain that are supporting the broken personality. When those pathways cannot be healed, they have to starve. You feed them less and less, and that happens by disidentifying, by knowing that you're no one, and you create new pathways consciously by consciously choosing to say I am, and then you say something good. See, so the old pathways cannot be healed. They have to be removed. They have to starve. They have to be no longer used. And this can take some time. But at the same time, you start to consciously create new pathways that serve you. So it's like a death of the old and a birth of the new. So it's just a part of the play. It's just part of the play. It's not that serious. You just do it because you can play now. Because it's fun. Why wouldn't you want to have a sense of being delighted by life and joyful, and So you can do that. But first, you have to make it your most important mission to find out who you truly are, or otherwise all these methods will just end up being an ego thing. In order to consciously change your ego, you have to find out how to escape the ego. You see?